I have a huge reading update because I have been reading a lot this week and I managed to finish reading 4 books, which is kind of crazy for me because last month I only read 1 book and I'm just happy that I am back to reading again. So the first book I finished reading is Narcissus and Goldmund by Hermann Hesse. I'll try not to go on a tangent again because it's really difficult to edit those clips and I already wrote a review for it. Really enjoyed Hesse's observation of people and his exploration about these two distinct ideas of the mind and the body, especially when it was layered with the religious context. And if you're someone who likes philosophical exploration through fiction, I think this one is going to be a very fun read. I gave it 4 stars. I cannot wait to read more of his work. I think Damien is the only other work I have by him in my collection, so I will be picking that up quite soon. The next book I finished reading is Springtime in the Broken Mirror by Mario Benedetti. In this book, we are following multiple perspectives. In these perspectives, we are learning about these characters who are experiencing exile. One of the characters is actually a political prisoner, while his rest of the family is exiled from his country. And this encounters the sense of nostalgia, the loneliness, and the loss of something familiar to these people. The writing was beautiful. Each of these characters and these perspectives had their own unique voice. There are so many lines I highlighted about the feelings of being exiled and the emptiness, the quiet ache of not being in your country and not being in the place that you belong to. I really like that, but maybe it's because of my lack of political or historical context. I just was confused because I was not sure what this book was exactly trying to be. Sometimes it was extremely political, but sometimes it was extremely emotional or soap opera type. Because the second half of this book kind of turns into the soap opera where they're just having this affair, there's this love triangle thing, and I don't know what exactly was going on. So I gave it 2 stars because I was not having a good time around the second half. The start was so strong and the ending was just what is happening? But my book club members liked it a lot. So please don't hesitate to read this book in case you're interested in it, and don't let my thoughts stop you from trying it out. And to be honest, I had a difficult time finishing this book. The next book I finished reading is Never Let Me Go, which was actually the opposite of what I experienced with Springtime in the Broken Mirror. I don't know how to talk about this book without spoiling anything. I really liked the introspective nature of the writing and how it was shaping out all these characters' life and their characteristics. And it had all this aspect of ethics and what does it truly means to be human. And the most fascinating thing about this book was definitely that how human beings are conditioned about their situations and how we learn and how our behavior is molded into ways that we ourselves don't realize, and what is really the true path, the correct path to take. It was quite bingeable too, so I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I finished was White Nights by Fyodor Dostotevsky. Finally, I read this book because I have been trying to read this book for quite some time, and it was actually my 3rd attempt, which led me to finish this book. I actually really enjoyed the second short story. I believe it's called A Book. Especially thanks to the audiobook that I was listening to. The audiobook narrator was quite good with the voice acting of these multiple various characters who were talking about wild things, but it was so fun how he was able to create these different voices for these different characters, and one of the voices was so charming. I really liked it. And I also very much liked the first short story because it was kind of not just about this first love or this not reciprocated love, but also this idea that how we have to grow up, the struggle of when we are growing up, about accepting the reality and how we have to change all our thinking about the world that we live in. When we are young, we believe that the world is an ideal, it's such a good place to be in, but then we grow up, we see the truth about the world we live in, and that rainbow colored picture kind of vanishes or breaks apart. It felt like the main character was just trying to be in this idealized fantasy because that was his way of coping through the reality. It was really beautiful. Now I don't know what to read next because I can read Crime and Punishment. since I've been wanting to read whatever books I have by Dostoevsky in chronological order. Or I can read, I don't know, I can read Jane Eyre, I can read Pride and Prejudice, or maybe Anna Karenina. I actually got its audiobook. So, or I can read Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters, or Love in the Time of Cholera. Gosh, I have a lot of options. And whenever I have a lot of options, it means that I cannot fucking choose. Last night I finished the Belcha, so I'm thinking of starting with Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. And I don't know, honestly, like I also want to read Jane Eyre or maybe Crime and Punishment. I'm so confused about what I want to read next. Maybe I'll read Anna Karenina. I don't know, like maybe not, I don't know.